As children, many of us have undying curiosities of what is out in nature. One of the best ways to explore nature as a kid is to join the Boy and Girl Scouts. Personally, I never had the chance to join the Scouts as a kid, but I never lost my interest in nature nonetheless. This case, unfortunately, covers one of the darker sides of life. The details surrounding this unsolved murder of a Girl Scout aide in Colorado just doesn't seem to add up. Out of all the cases I've covered in this series so far, this one seems to be the hardest one yet as to figuring out exactly what happened. It was the end of summer when tragedy would strike the Flying G Ranch Girl Scout camp. Margaret Peggy Beck was a 16-year-old Girl Scout aide at the time. The night of the crime was August 18th, 1963, and was the last planned night at the camp. Sometime during the night, Margaret's tent mate, Claudia Schride, made her way to the infirmary. She claimed to have left the tent with Margaret still sleeping inside. Now, I haven't been able to find a solid reason why Claudia went to the infirmary. I have not seen a reason listed anywhere. When Claudia returned, she apparently found Margaret dead in her sleeping bag. Witnesses say there were no obvious signs of trauma and they assumed Margaret had simply died of natural causes. What bothers me the most about this is that the camp cleaned up the entire area where she was found and didn't even call the cops until 8 hours after the discovery. It is said her tent mate also packed up her stuff and brought them home. This is a huge problem, as very valuable evidence was destroyed. After some investigation, Jefferson County Police discovered Margaret's underwear and leotard had been ripped and markings on her neck. They even found some skin under her fingernails, which led them to believe she had been murdered. It was determined that Margaret had been sexually assaulted and then strangled to death. She was left zip-tied in her sleeping bag. Margaret's tent was roughly 30 or so feet away from her nearest neighbor's tent. There were plenty of other campers nearby, and not one person reported a single thing out of place. Due to the packing and cleaning of Margaret's belongings in tent area, there was barely any evidence left behind, and whatever might have been was likely contaminated and unusable. This is sadly where the case ends, as far as official documentation goes. I do have a few speculations and unverified details I would like to share on this case, however. First off, there were 4 suspects in this case that came to officials' attention. The first suspect I'd like to mention was Ansel Teague Jr. He actually confessed to the murder, but his details of what happened just didn't match up to the crime scene. But with the crime scene practically non-existent the entire investigation, it would be hard to 100% dismiss Ansel as the killer. Another suspect was James Sherbondy, who was questioned by the police. After they received some tips that he may be involved by people around the area, but like Ansel, there was no proof and he was cleared. This next suspect was actually the first suspect officials questioned in the case. A groundskeeper who worked for the camp was questioned. His name has not been listed anywhere for me to find. He passed his polygraph test and was eventually dropped as a suspect. Irvin Stewart was questioned in 1964, but was also eliminated as a suspect, again due to lack of any evidence to link him to the crime. There was a 5th suspect, however. After officials put out the report that the killer would have likely had scratches on their face from Margaret scratching them, an unknown man was spotted in Cannon City, Colorado. He was reported to have had a series of scratches on his face. This man was apparently questioned but was released, and no further information on this lead has been posted. A few more details that may be relevant to this case are that the woods around the area had a lot of strange reports from them in that time period. There were reports of a stalker or prowler in the area. the same day Margaret was killed. Earlier in that same week, a different campground about 4 miles away from the camp Margaret was murdered at had a report from a young woman who claimed she was being followed by a strange man. The man apparently tried to jump into her car as she was trying to leave. Police were not able to locate the woman who made the report though. They did, however, spend many hours searching the trails in the area where it was reported. One last detail is there were a series of reports of break-ins at these campgrounds as well. Now, whether any of this is connected with Margaret Beck's murder or not, it is very interesting nonetheless. At just 16 years of age, it is very sad to see a life taken much too soon. This crime seems to have little to no motivation behind it, aside from the obvious sexual assault. This case seemingly spoke to me when I found it online a few weeks back. I just couldn't stop thinking about why, who, or what caused this to happen. This case remains unsolved and is still open until this very day. It is probably unlikely due to the time that has passed, but if anyone has any ideas, information, anything, please contact the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button. The more people who like and comment on this video, the more YouTube promotes it to fresh new eyes, and we could use anyone who might have any information on this. If you're new to the swamp, be sure to subscribe and join us. Turn on notifications to never miss a new video as I upload them almost every single day on all things natural and supernatural. As always, please be respectful in the comments, as family members and friends of those featured in these videos often do watch these. Thanks for being great, and I'll see you soon with another creepy video.